We're gonna start with
Flags over.
the. Oh, we got two different ones. I'm gonna bring one over here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I tried to get, he doesn't want to sit with us. He's afraid of us ladies.
All right. Let's start with an approval of the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion by Todd, second by Jack. Any additions, deletions? No. Seeing none, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Carries.
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Todd to approve the minutes, second by Jeremy. Any discussion? Kathy?
There were 4 things that I wanted to change.
Sure.
On line 88 and line 136, it says blah, blah, blah. I can't find it right now. But blah, 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 et cetera. It should be ETC, not ECT. And it needs a period after it. And then line 145, there's an S missing in Madison.
That's okay,
If Madian approves,
that's okay.
well,
Nice to Kathy.
what is not okay is on line 231, the last T in my name is missing. That is not acceptable.
That is not okay.
T and an S both missing.
All right. Oh, she's over there. Did you get those? Thank you. All right, anything else? Seeing none, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstaining? Carries. Righty. Now I just flip my page over. So next Freedom School Board meeting, the 9th, SAU 9/13 board meeting.
I reached out to Amy, and thank you to Sherry who pointed this out. We have the Kennett Middle School graduation that night, so Dr. Frechette has wanted me to pull the board if we want to change the date, which I think would probably be a wise idea.
I mean, I think based on we have some students up there.
Right.
Plus, doesn't she normally go?
I would think so.
Okay with changing that date?
Dangerous to me.
So I would just propose maybe going out. Ooh, I was gonna say go out a week, but that gets into the elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what your schedule looks like in those.
So we're thinking of pushing it a week out? potentially?
Or somewhere.
Why don't we let them?
You guys hash it
We have
out?
to figure it out.
Would you like me to try to keep it in June on a Wednesday?
That works.
I mean, it works for me,
Yeah.
as long as it's 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Anybody else have any concerns coming up other than school-related items? Hopefully we can figure that out.
Okay.
All right, so that part's gonna be moved. Just let me know.
Yes.
So we can make sure we have set up here. Tamworth School Board meeting's on the 19th. First, oh my God.
Yeah, I know.
First day for staff. August 25th at Camp Robin Hood, and then the first day for students is September 2nd. Wow, that's coming up pretty close. Summer will be over. Heather Sherwood, what do you have for us today?
I will be very brief. Expenditure report and revenues are in the packet. As of now, all our appropriations have been paid. Even though that doesn't say it, I had to, moving the meeting up also moved up the timeline for me to produce reports, so it wasn't over when I did that. The budget balance is showing about 8,000 on the expenditures. And when I ran it again today, that's down a little bit lower, closer to 3. I do have some POs still encumbered, which you can see on here. I do not believe those are going to be fully spent, but by the end of the year, I still think we're running pretty close to the fund balance that is in here, where we'll have about 142,000. Where by policy, we can carry 50, so about 92. And of that, I will say, preschool revenue paid to date through this weekend is 42,725. What's still out there to come in is 10,274. I have one in each district that's behind. Everybody else is current and just owes for June. So I've spoken to all of them, and while they all will pay, I don't know that they will all pay 60 days after June 30th. So there may be an exposure there for some bad debt that will become revenue next year when we collect it. It's about $5,000
How
to
does
June
that
1.
get I guess I don't even know if I need to know how it get carried over. Because our year closes off? does
I
it-
would write it off, so whatever I don't collect that I don't think I'm gonna get within 60 days,
Mhm.
I would write off as bad debt. That doesn't mean I can't collect it and I can't continue to collect it, and if they do pay, it's revenue in the next year.
So it would be unanticipated revenue in the future year?
But the SAU doesn't really have unanticipated revenue like the school board because we don't
Right.
really have.
Unanticipated, right. Okay,
It's a little weird.
yep,
But
all right. Okay, questions on the expenditure reports? Revenues report? Pretty much online there too?
pretty much online there, yeah. There are some indirect costs that the number there is reflected through February. We've billed through April, and then what I anticipate to come in, so March, April, plus what I can expect for May and June is about $2,000 more. Could change, it depends, like, there are some bigger grants out there with some big things scheduled, particularly in Tamworth. Depends the timing on those, if they happen in June, it might be a little higher, but I'm kind of thinking those are gonna come to fruition in July.
Okay. And then fund balance?
We are looking at 92,000 unassigned. And of that, at least as of today, 42,000 of that was revenue from the preschool.
And when do we need to vote? That's August that we do that? Okay. All right.
Okay, I have just one question,
Yes.
just out of curiosity. If we write off a certain amount from the preschool revenue, and then it comes in the next 60 days or whenever, do we go back and correct the records so that if we're looking back over a 5-year period or something to see how has the preschool done, would that be correctly
Yeah,
reflected?
If they pay within the 60 days, I can correct it, and that's before the DOEs do,
Uh-huh.
the DOE 25. After that, if the auditor tells me I have to do it, then yeah, I would correct it also, but
Right,
then my audited numbers won't match DOE, which is fine, there's a place to make adjustments for that, but
That DOE was like in October, right?
it's due September 1st.
September 1st.
September, okay.
So, Mr. Chair, when's our next meeting?
August, right?
That was,
August, not September, October, November.
That was, it's usually in August, yes, so. Thank you.
Mr. Giles?
Should the is the
Yeah.
calendar? No, the calendar's not.
There it is,
here.
right, I got it.
I believe it's August
For the
25th,
yellow.
the fourth Monday.
yeah, that makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Freedom on the 18th. So August 18th in Freedom,
at 6 PM?
Oh, okay, it's a week early.
yes.
Yep.
I'm not complaining because it makes it easy for me, but have we not done it in Tamworth quite a while? Didn't we just do one in Freedom?
No, we did one in Tamworth.
Last one was Freedom, and then we are here in Madison, now we're going back to Freedom, which is great.
I think
I have no
we
problem.
always flip because
Okay,
Tamworth ends up being the night when we do the public hearing.
okay.
Tamworth is
So we-
always November,
Right.
yeah.
So August 18th, 6 o'clock in Freedom. Great. I won't complain about short drives.
Thank you, Todd. All right, any questions for Heather? Superintendent's report.
Yes, thank you. So first on the agenda for my report, we're talking about the preschool. So it's been our first year where the program has come off the ground here. I'm very pleased with the successes of the first year. We've learned a lot. We've learned about right-sizing the program. I'm very, Heather and I are very happy about the the economic financials here that we've looked at, and that shaped up well. So we do have some work to do as far as goals and what we've learned this first year. I think some of those are looking at our continued financial success that makes good sense across our 3 districts. Time that we have the ability to deliver services in a timely manner, that we're not spread so thin. And the third is looking at our classroom performance, our academic data, and that's what Lisa's here to talk a little bit about to help me, as usual. So we're looking at what do those success indicators look like, and what would be a good metric in the fall as we look at what does the profile or image of a preschool student coming out of SAU 13 look like.
Yeah, and so we've thrown around a couple things. So any kiddos that are fall under the special education umbrella has to have under the preschool outcome measurements, which is an indicator through the Department of Ed, have some assessments that have to be done with them. We did not, the state went to a new system this year and a new tool, so we just did special ed kids. One of the things that my conversation with Ms. Hogan, the classroom teacher, is thinking about whether we want to provide that with all students, because it would give us a beginning of the year and end of year for each of our students within the preschool or early childhood environment. But as they move into kindergarten next year, Superintendent Whalen and I have talked about maybe doing something more like using Acadian's math and reading benchmarks to start tracking those kids, because it's a tool that's used in all 3 of our districts right now, or it's accessible and easy to give in all 3 districts right now, to kind of follow those kids along for a little while if we wanted to get like a 5-year span to look at the growth and compared to other students. But that's one piece of it. I don't know if Superintendent Whalen has shared this out with the board yet, but there's an end-of-year celebration on Monday, June 16th from 11:30 to 12:30 on the playground to celebrate the success of the program this year, that they would love to have anybody who is a part of this team come and join. So
There'll be food.
There'll be food, yes, there'll be some pizza. Chose not to do like an actual graduation this year for those kiddos, but just a end-of-year celebration and moving on to kindergarten success. Because half of the students that came to us this year are moving on to kindergarten. And with that said, we opened enrollment in May, and we've filled all of those spots again, 10. So we're at 20 kids to start the year. Gives us some wiggle room for any kiddos that might be coming up through us, through early supports and services, and any kiddos that might come in from other sources that may need some special ed services.
I'm sorry, what time was that on June
Yep.
16th?
11:30 to 12:30. Hopefully it's not raining, but if not, I'm sure we'll do it.
We
in
haven't had
classroom,
much
if
of
not.
that this spring, so
No,
we should
this
be
big, yeah,
outside.
I'm sure it'll be dry, sunny,
During the week, it'll be fine.
right? Especially Monday, yeah, so.
Are
Yeah.
we doing anything to evaluate the program, like parent surveys, questionnaires, just to try to find out how the parent or public perception is?
Yep.
Just be nice to see, maybe things that they had hoped we'd done differently, or things that we're doing great.
What's worked, what hasn't worked.
Yeah.
Yep,
It's
what,
great
any
suggestion.
suggestions, yep. That's worked. Yep.
One question I
Definitely.
had is, one of the original objectives of the program was to bring services in-house instead of having our staff all over the place in the valley. And I know the first year was gonna be pretty difficult to gauge how well that worked, but going forward, are we able to see, like, historically, how many services we were providing all over the place, and then this year and then years forward?
Yeah, and this year, there was a dramatic decrease this year. I only had three students that were getting services at the preschool level and other places.
Previously, right?
Yeah, and those were in, basically in 2 locations. Children Unlimited
Okay.
had 2 kiddos, and then we had one that does one service at Children Unlimited, and then I contracted with Children Unlimited to do the other service in that student's preschool. But, yeah, so we really dramatically decreased
Because
that this
initially,
year.
we were effectively funding the funds for those services and then also the preschool, so to see that reduction at some point come together.
Yeah,
Right, because we'd all, the first year had to budget,
Right.
Yeah,
basically the way we were going and the way
Yeah.
we were hoping to be.
hoping to get to, yep.
Yeah.
and I'm assuming, and I don't want to speak for Heather and Jen, but I'm assuming that's something that they could probably track at some point later this summer, look at what the costs were from the year previous to this year as to
Yeah, I
what we
think that'd be-
outsourced.
Yeah.
Pretty helpful.
think,
for
yeah.
the
I've
boards to
talked,
see.
I've
Yeah.
talked with Jen and Heather, and they have started to, go through and look at that, but it's, once the books are closed, it'll be much easier
Yeah.
to get down to that granular level.
Other questions preschool related? All right, thank you. Moving on.
Yeah, the wage pool, I just wanted to mention, Heather and I sat down, because, you know, me working a calculator by myself is a dangerous thing. So, had Heather with me, and we figured out, through evaluations and looking at, performance, through recommendations, wage pool, and that worked out very well, so I just wanted to thank the board for the ability to do that. I know that's something that hadn't been done in the past, but I think that that makes good sense, because we have some folks that are in different places and due to performance need to be compensated and brought up to meet the need in the area. So that went very well, so I just wanted to provide a brief overview for the board, and hope that is something we can continue with.
Questions? Anything else, Mike?
The last thing I'd mention, I know that the grants, the federal grants have been a topic that has been concern for a lot of school districts. Right now, we have received our allocations for IDEA. We don't have Perkins and Title I, so we know that those grants are coming in. We're still waiting on Title II and Title IV. Title II we use for professional funds, and Title IV we use professional development, and Title IV we use for our student-based, well-rounded technology and social, emotional. So we're hoping those come in, and but very pleased that IDEA and Title I are there, because we have several staff that are utilized through Title I.
All right. Other questions for Mike? Seeing none, moving on to superintendent evaluation process. So in the past, I've sent out the superintendent evaluation. It seems to be working well. I just want to make sure that that's the same system we want to continue using. If so, I will send it out immediately and have results for the August meeting, if that works. Okay. Conway negotiations. So myself, Jack, Sherry, and Sarah met via phone. Sarah was on the phone. The three of us were in the room. We're kind of moving forward and trying to make a plan as to how to negotiate with Conway. So nothing exact about the science to it, but we're just trying to figure out which way we're going. Fuel pricing. Heather, do you want to talk about that?
I figured out our usage for this past year for all three districts, and I sent that out to Eastern, Irving, Rhymes, and White Mountain, who had expressed interest last year, but they hadn't at that point set their price by the end of June. And I asked for pricing as of a week from today, so June 9th. So similar to last year, I had asked for permission to lock in the price if I thought it was good. I have no idea what this year's gonna bring. The news has been volatile. I don't know if the oil market has been. I know with the tariff going back and forth, Irving initially billed all of us 10% for the tariff, and then a week later they credited it all back, so we haven't paid a tariff to Irving.
So they, even under contracted prices, they?
Well, actually, at least one of the districts was off of contract pricing. At that point, they'd used all the gallons estimated. So, yeah, and I think probably we weren't the only ones that said, hey, we're under contract, and they removed it.
So I think when we do lock in,
I don't know.
we just need to make sure that, see what the language reads, if it
Right.
adds something.
Fuel surcharge.
Right.
Tariff charge.
They have a fuel surcharge anyways, but it's all kind of wrapped up into that price they give us, and it's a fraction of a percent.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be looking closely. Irving historically has been lower by a lot. I mean, not just a little. I'm talking $15,000-$30,000 depending on the district. So I will see what this year brings. If
So you'll be looking
Something
for
will be
each
better.
district to give you the approval to lock
Right.
in
I mean,
Because Irving gives you like,
Irving gives
they
you
send
that
it today
day.
by midnight tonight, you have
right.
to lock
So
it.
if I get, I mean, whatever day I get it, I have till midnight that night to lock it in. Otherwise, they reprice.
Are you looking for approval now or at the individual board meetings?
It probably needs to come from individual board meetings. And I did my first round of pricing to be next week, so Madison's meeting's tonight, then Freedom, and then we'll see Tamworth. It could be that we wait longer this year than we have in the past. Historically, locking in June has been really good. So,
But one never knows.
one never knows.
It's a gamble. I mean, we've locked in before and it went down 3 cents, and we locked in, I think, 2 years ago, and then Tamworth opted to wait, and then locked in 15 cents higher a week later. So it was, I don't think there's any science to it, but, so that's just coming to each individual board meeting, but that way she only had to spell it out once.
Exactly.
Public? You're not public. They are. Anything? Nope. Okay. Do we, non-public?
I have one item for non-public.
Okay, so
Move to.
motion to go to non-public by Jack, second by Kathy. Deb?
Yes.
Dexter? Foster, sorry. Dexter's over there. Foster, Sherry? Joyce?
Yes.
Kathy?
Aye.
Jack?
Yep.
Jim? Jake? Jeremy? Ed?
Yes.
Todd? Now I get that. Thank you. All right, everybody's in. Name tags. the board approved the nomination of Christine Latowski as a paraprofessional for the early childhood program. And the board also gave the superintendent authorization to hire over the summer as needed. That's all. And anyone else for the next one?
Motion adjourned.
Motion, second. Any objections? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
We're out.
6:30.
Wow.